Elizabeth Warren just called out the Democratic Party and its leaders and says their mistakes are hitting your wallet. In this video, I'll break down what Warren said and show why it's causing debate in Democratic politics. Now, if you look at many polls right now in early 2026, the Democratic Party seems to be in a good position heading into the midterm elections later this year. The party won big victories in 2025, including the governorships in Virginia and New Jersey. And of course, Zohran Mamdani also won the New York City mayor's race, defeating the moderate former Governor Andrew Cuomo. So big victories for both the more establishment Democrats and progressive ones. And Democrats seem united in opposing President Trump, his administration, and Republicans in Congress, though they are divided, it seems, over just how strongly to stand up and fight back. But overall, Democrats seem set up for success this year, at least according to the polls. Given that, it might seem strange for a prominent Democratic lawmaker to question where the party is right now and to air its dirty laundry, so to speak. But Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren says if the party doesn't change its approach, it won't be successful in 2026 or 2028. Speaking at the National Press Club, Warren delivered one of the most direct challenges to the Democratic Party that we've heard in a long time, and she wasn't subtle.
A Democratic Party that worries more about offending big donors than delivering for working people is a party doomed to fail in 2026, 2028, and beyond.
Now, you don't have to follow Democratic politics to care about this speech, but Warren is talking about why everything feels expensive, who politicians actually listen to, and why Democrats keep losing certain voters. In many ways, this wasn't just a speech, it's a fight over the future of one of our major parties and the policies that affect our lives. Warren's central message, her central argument is simple. Democrats don't lose elections because they're too progressive. They lose when they go out of their way to keep wealthy donors comfortable. She frames the moment as a choice, not just about policy, but about identity. Who is the Democratic Party for? And who gets to shape its agenda? Warren builds her case around three big ideas. First, she says that wealthy donors are pushing Democrats to moderate their economic agenda. She says this pressure leads to watered-down policies, weaker regulation, and leadership choices that favor corporate interest. Second, voters aren't asking for moderation. According to Warren, voters want leaders who name what's broken and fight the forces that keep costs high and wages low. Third, Democrats win when they deliver. She points to Social Security, Medicare, the Affordable Care Act, and union protections as examples of the party at its strongest. Her argument is that the party's biggest successes came from bold action, not caution.
Americans are stretched to the breaking point financially, and they will vote for candidates who name what is wrong and who credibly demonstrate that they will take on a rigged system in order to fix it.
Warren draws a sharp line between two groups of wealthy Americans who support the Democratic Party, a small group that she describes as public-minded who support strong public institutions, and a much larger group who, in her view, benefit from a system that's tilted in their favor. She argues that this second group uses its influence within the party to shape policy from tax breaks to regulatory rollbacks in ways that protect their wealth. Now, this is where Warren's message becomes a broader critique of how political power works. She's not just talking about Republicans, she's talking about Democrats who, in her view, soften their economic agenda to avoid upsetting those donors. She used former Vice President Kamala Harris as an example, saying that during the 2024 presidential campaign, Harris promised to help working families by pushing for tough corporate price gouging laws. But she says Harris watered that down after corporate donors got to her.
That story of retreat ran just weeks before the Democrats lost an election to Donald Trump, who loudly, day after day after day, promised he would lower costs for families on day one.
This is a long-running debate inside the party, and Warren is putting it front and center before primaries begin this year. Warren then laid out the kind of agenda that she believes Democrats should run on and govern on, things that center affordability and economic fairness, like lowering costs for families, building more affordable housing, universal child care, stronger unions, higher minimum wage, universal health care, cracking down on price gouging, and raising taxes on the wealthy. Now, she argues these policies aren't just morally right, they're politically effective. In her view, candidates who focused on cost of living issues in 2024 performed better than those who didn't. And this is where the speech became more than a policy list. Warren is speaking to multiple audiences at once. Democratic leadership urging them not to retreat from economic populism, donors warning them that their influence is hurting the party, activists and organizers encouraging them to push harder, and candidates preparing for 2026 and 2028, signaling what she believes is a winning message. She also takes aim at what she calls the abundance agenda, referring to Ezra Klein's popular book, which I happen to have right here, Abundance, which argues that democratic policymaking, which leads to a bunch of bureaucracy, is why government can't solve problems that people demanded to solve, like delivering affordable housing, public transit, and renewable energy. Now, Warren says that she supports efficiency, but warns that some wealthy interests are using abundance rhetoric to justify deregulation that benefits them. This is part of a larger ideological debate inside the party. Should Democrats focus on making markets work better or on confronting corporate power more directly? Warren is firmly in that second camp.
The Democratic Party cannot pursue both visions at the same time. Either we politely nibble around the edges of change, or we throw ourselves into the fight.
Warren is trying to shape the party's message heading into the next election cycle. She's arguing that Democrats can't be the party of working people and the party of billionaire donors at the same time. She's also signaling that the internal debate over the party's economic identity isn't going away. If anything, it's intensifying. Whether Democrats embrace her argument or push back against it will shape the next few years of policy, messaging, and political strategy. Whether you agree with her or not, this is a clear attempt to steer the party's direction, and it's likely to spark a lot of conversation inside Democratic politics. So what do you think? Do you think Warren is making a good argument here, or do you think her message will undermine the party as it heads into the 2026 midterms? Let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.